This is my breakout book, The Orphan's Tale. And it's so funny when people say like overnight success. I'm like, overnight success, 10 years in the making, because The Commandant's Girl came out on March 1st, 2007. The Orphan's Tale hit the New York Times, which was my very first one, on March 1st, 2017. So it was 10 years to the day. The Orphan's Tale was inspired by two true historical stories I found in the Yad Vashem virtual archive. The first was a horrific story about what was called the Train of Unknown Children, and it was babies who had been taken from their parents too young to know their own name, and that they were on a train headed for a concentration camp. And the other story is a remarkable, uplifting story of a German circus that hid Jews during the war. And so I've combined these in The Orphan's Tale. Noah is a young Dutch girl who is living above a rail station cleaning to earn her keep, and she discovers the train of unknown children, and she rescues one of those babies and flees into the night, and she finds shelter with the German circus, and in order to stay with the circus she has to be part of it, and she learns flying trapeze from an aerialist, Astrid, and Astrid is a Jew in hiding. And so the central question of The Orphan's Tale is, can these two very different women come together and save one another, or will their secrets kind of destroy them both? When I had to write the scene about the babies on the train, right? I knew the minute I read that was going to be the opening scene of my book. And I also knew it was going to be the hardest scene I ever wrote. So normally I pant something and I revise it, I revise it, I revise it. This one I was like, I have to do this in a single take. Like, I'm going to have to write this in a single take. And so to write that scene of the babies on the train, I said, I'm going to have to metaphorically put my own kids on that train in order to do this justice. And so I wrote it. I did it once, and then I didn't write for a while because it was really, really hard. It's the first question when you think you're going to write a book about the circus is, do I want to write a book about the circus? Because I don't particularly like circuses, and I was going to have to spend a year or two with the circus. So once I decided to take that on, I started researching, and I learned so much, because first I had to learn about circuses in general. And by the way, a European circus in the 1940s is going to be very different than a modern American circus. And I'm learning things like how the seating is deliberate, and there's a way that they stage the acts in a certain order, and there's just so much thought that actually goes into it. So I'm learning that. And then I have to learn about aerial arts, right? I have to learn like what a hawk hang is and like all these different moves. And I needed to know whether things would be plausible. You know, can I get someone from here to there on a trapeze? And how would one start learning trapeze at the age of 15? And so I had an aerialist on retainer. And by on retainer, I meant she was helping me for free, but she was available to answer my questions. And I didn't know until the very end, like what my questions were actually, what I needed to know. And she sent me videos. I mean, no writers were harmed in the, writing of this book. I never got on the trapeze, but she would send me videos and answer my questions about the flying trapeze. So it was really interesting research.